What's going on, you guys? It's Nick Johnson, your favorite sports reporter, back with another video, and I'm going to give you a recap of Monday's action in sports as well as tonight's action. Now, yesterday we had two different Monday Night Football games, one between the New York Giants and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the other between the Tennessee Titans and the Denver Broncos. Now, in the first Monday night action, the Pittsburgh Steelers, with the return of Ben Roethlisberger, came away with the win with 26-16, which was a 10-point win, behind the strength of Roethlisberger's 3 touchdown passes, 2 of them to his favorite wideout, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Brian Snell Jr., and not James Conner. Brian Snell Jr. had over 100 yards rushing on the ground. Daniel Jones for the Giants had 2 touchdown passes on nearly 300 yards passing, but also had 2 interceptions. And for the Giants, it was a really, really rough night for Saquon Barkley, their superstar running back, as he only mustered 6 yards rushing on 15 carries, so it was a really bad night for him. But he kind of made up for it, kind of in a way, with 60 yards receiving on just 6 catches. So it was a bad performance for the Giants throughout, especially on behalf of Saquon, but it was a really, really big win for the Steelers on opening day, especially with their longtime franchise quarterback returning from a year-long injury that he suffered last season. So it was a huge win for them. And then you had the second game, which featured the Broncos and the Titans. Now, the Titans was good throughout. Ryan Tannehill had 2 touchdown passes on 250 yards passing. Derrick Henry was his usual self, rushing for 113 yards on the ground. And Corey Brown had a big night for the Titans receiving core, with 7 catches for over 100 yards receiving. So that's a real big one. But the biggest story for the Titans was that they overcame their kicking woes to come out on top. Their newly acquired place kicker, Stephen Gostkowski, the former All-Pro and Pro Bowl place kicker for his entire 14-year career with the New England Patriots, who was released by the Patriots this past offseason and joined the Titans on a 1-year deal, he missed 4 different field goals, 3 field goals and 1 extra point. He was 1 for 4 on field goals, while 1 for 2 on the extra point attempts. It was a really disastrous night for him. It was a bad one. He managed to avoid a disastrous debut for the Titans because he made up for that by kicking the Titans' game-winning field goal with 17 seconds left to go to give Tennessee a 16-14 victory. Now, the strength of the Titans was of obviously their defense. They held Drew Lock 219 yards passing and a touchdown. Melvin Gordon, their newly acquired running back, only had 78 yards rushing. And their leading receiver was their tight end, Noah Fant. Their second-year tight end had 5 catches for 81 yards and a touchdown. So it was a really good, interesting Monday night action. And it was a really good way to finish off opening week of the 2020 NFL season, the COVID-19 version of the NFL season. So, second week of action will be coming up starting tomorrow, which is the Battle of Ohio between the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals, both coming off of their opening week losses. One of them hoping to rebound to get back on track, especially with the Bengals actually losing by 3 to the fellow rookie Justin Herbert-led Los Angeles Chargers. I nearly called them San Diego Chargers because I'm so used to that. The LA Chargers, 16-13, hoping to rebound, while the Browns, led by Baker Mayfield, got blown out by the Ravens last week, 38-6. So hopefully one of those two teams can bounce out with a better performance than the other, and it'll be like a tale of 2 seasons to see exactly where they can go going forward, not only this season but beyond. So anyways, and also in hockey news, yesterday's action, the Las Vegas Golden Knights have saw their season ended at the hands of the Dallas Stars when the Stars came away with a 3-2 double overtime win on Darius Komarov's double overtime winner to send the Dallas Stars back to the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time since 2000, when they made back-to-back trips to the Stanley Cup Finals in 1999 and 2000. in which some of us know they won the 1999 Stanley Cup against the Buffalo Sabres in 6 games in, of course, controversial fashion, if many of you remember, before losing the following year to the New Jersey Devils in 6 games themselves. So it's a really big win for the Stars, for a team that surprisingly fired their previous head coach early in the season for violating personal team conduct with the team, which is still reasons that are not being disclosed, or not being undisclosed. So that's still lingering up in the air. But his coaching replacement, whose name I forgot, I really apologize, has done a fantastic job with the club. And with that, for the fact, the Dallas Stars are on to the Stanley Cup Finals, and they will be awaiting the winner of the Tampa Bay Lightning and New York Islanders Eastern Conference Finals. And speaking of which, tonight was Game 5 between the Lightning and the Islanders. And the Islanders came off on top on a double overtime winning goal from Jordan Eberle on a feed assist from Anders Lee on a 2-on-1 break that forced a Lightning turnover and caused a 2-on-1 break into the Tampa Bay offensive zone. And Anders Lee, with a beautiful quick look pass, cross ice, a tic-tac-toe-like play over to Jordan Eberle, who tipped it in right past Lightning goaltender Andrei Vasilevsky to get the double overtime win to avoid having the Islanders getting eliminated in Game 5. So with that being said, the Islanders kept their season alive, and we'll have a Game 6 Thursday night on NBC or NBCSN. Do check that out. It's going to be a good series. So if Tampa Bay wins Thursday night, then they will go on to face Dallas in the Stanley Cup Finals as soon as either this weekend or next week. But the schedule for the Stanley Cup Finals have not been released yet, so do stay tuned for that. And now we shift into NBA action, as we got breaking news, rather an hour ago or so, that the Los Angeles Clippers are going home. That's right. The Denver Nuggets have become the first team in NBA history to overcome 2 different 3-1 series deficits and come out on top, winning the series in 7. Yes, you heard that right. The Denver Nuggets have come on top with a decisive Game 7 win over the Los Angeles Clippers, 104-89, which means for the first time since 2009, the Nuggets will advance to the Western Conference Finals to take on the Los Angeles Lakers. You heard that right. The Nuggets beat the Clippers 104-89 and win the series 4-3 after trailing 3-1. So with that being said, the Clippers are going home. And it was a really bad night for the Clippers all the way around. Despite having comfortable leads for good parts of the game, especially a 7-point lead in the third quarter, their 2 big stars, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, did not have a good night whatsoever. Leonard was 6 of 22 from the field with only 14 points, while Paul George had a real awful night, going 4 for 14 with only 10 points, while attempting a 3-point shot that literally hit the backboard that enabled Denver to get a rebound. So it was a really poor night from 2 of the biggest superstars for the Clippers, who now see their season whiffed away. And this is the second time in their club's history that they've had a 3-1 series lead with a chance to go to the Western Conference Finals for the first time ever, and they blew it. The same thing that happened in 2015 during the Lob City era, when they had Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, and DeAndre Jordan. They had a 3-1 series lead over the James Harden and Dwight Howard-led Houston Rockets, but yet they blew that one and lost that series in 7. Now this is the same predicament here. You had a legitimate super team from not only Leonard to George, but also a defensive pest in Patrick Beverley, a 6th Man of the Year winner in Montrezl Harrell, a legendary 6th Man of the Year figure, Lou Williams, and some great role players from top to bottom, and yet the Clippers still are unable to pull it off. So yes, the Clippers are going home, which means nobody is going to witness the Battle of LA, the much anticipated Battle of LA conference finals that fans were hoping for. The Clippers and the Lakers battle for LA conference finals to see who will rep LA in the NBA finals. So for everybody anticipating that, that's not going to happen because Denver had other plans. So matter of fact, speaking of Denver, it was a really, really huge night for Jamal Murray, who had finished the game with 38 points, especially a huge clutch three-pointer in the fourth quarter to push the Nuggets lead up by 18. It was just a real rounded effort from not only him, but also his fellow co-star, Nikola Jokic, who had 14 points to go along with 19 or 20 rebounds and 11 to 12 assists. He had a playoff triple-double, and he became the first player in NBA history to have 19 rebounds or more to go along with a triple-double. No player has ever done that before until now. So the Joker, which is his nickname, basically came into the building and sabotaged everything. You can say the Joker kind of ruined Gotham Night a little bit. Lame joke, I know, but that's what happened. So with that being said, the Nuggets, with the collective effort from the two-star duo of Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, have now advanced to the Western Conference Finals for the first time since Carmelo Anthony and Chauncey Billups took them there in 2009 when they lost in 6 games to the eventual NBA champion Kobe Bryant-led LA Lakers at that time. So this will be the second, correct me if I'm wrong, this is probably the second all-time Western Conference Final meeting between the two clubs. Like I said, it's the first since 2009 when Kobe and Pau Gasol led the Lakers to a 6-game series win over Melo, Chauncey, and the rest of that Nuggets squad that looked primed to go for it all. So, yeah. So with that being said, Game 1 of the Western Conference Final between Denver and Los Angeles will take place Friday night at, I believe, 6 p.m. Yeah, 6 p.m. Pacific time. So do tune into that, and it's going to be a really interesting one because looking at the two teams, even though LA had the best record in the conference and they've easily handled their other Western Conference final opponents in Portland and Houston, respectively, in 5 games, in which I mentioned in one of my earlier videos that they became the first team in NBA history to win their series in 5 games after losing the opener. So it's a tale of two stories. The Lakers became the first team in NBA history to win the series in 5 games after losing a series opener and then winning 4 straight, while the Nuggets become the first team in history to overcome a 3-1 series deficit and win the series in 7. So this is going to be a really good battle. I'm really anticipating this to go all the way. Hopefully this may go into a Game 7, but then again, you don't know. It's the playoffs. Anything can happen. So, and also earlier today in NBA action, the Miami Heat pulled off a real big statement win over the Boston Celtics in the first game of the Eastern Conference Finals with, I believe, a 119-114 double overtime victory thanks to a clutch shot, a dunk from Jimmy Butler, and a game-sealing defensive block from Bam Adebayo to deny Jason Tatum of an easy dunk that could have tied the game up. So that was a really huge collective effort for a Miami Heat team who is now basically a dark horse contender and has made an impressive run in these year's playoffs. They swept the Indiana Pacers in the first round, easily, shockingly dismantled the NBA's best team, the Milwaukee Bucks, in the second round in 5 games, and have already drawn first blood in these Eastern Conference Finals against the Boston Celtics, a squad that had a good run themselves. They've swept the Brooklyn Nets in the first round, and then no, I take that lie back. I apologize. They've swept the Philadelphia 76ers in the first round, easily swept them. Then they had to overcome a grueling 7-game series against the former NBA champion Toronto Raptors to get to this point. And despite great performance from Jason Tatum, it just wasn't enough for the Celtics to come out on top. And this is a Miami Heat team that's gritty, that's grimy, that's willing to do the dirty work, that has basically had its defensive studs, and it's been a collective effort all the way around. It's not just like a 1 or 2 punch combo superstar effort that's going to carry a team to win. It's like really the whole team effort. And of course, leading the team in scoring for the Heat was Goran Dragic, who had 29 points throughout the whole game. So the big-time veteran in his first ever Western Conference, in his first ever conference final appearance, making his big strides as well. Like I said, the story for Miami is that it doesn't take 1 or 2 superstars to get it done. It takes a whole team to rally around and get the job done. So hopefully the Celtics will have a chance to rebound with Game 2 set for Thursday night. So I'm looking forward to that one. And Game 1, like I said, of the Western Conference Finals between the LA Lakers and the Denver Nuggets is going to be a good one. So with that being in mind, maybe both of those series can go 7, and we'll see who will represent the conferences in this year's NBA Finals, which will start in a couple weeks. So I'm looking forward to this. I don't know exactly who's going to take it, but it should be a really good one throughout. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section. Leave a like and hit the subscribe button, and also hit that bell button so you get the notification updates of my videos. Make sure to tune in, subscribe if you can. And who you got in the NBA playoffs? Matter of fact, since the conference series is set up, who do you got winning the Western Conference, and who do you got in the Eastern Conference? Matter of fact, who do you want to see in the NBA Finals this year? The COVID-19 edition in this year's Finals. So who do you got represent both conferences in the NBA Finals? What matchup do you want to see? Let me know what you think in the comment section. Leave a like and hit the subscribe button below. And I'll see y'all next time, okay? This is Nick Johnson. I'm signing off. Peace.